video. Why can't I get that? No. I'm gonna redo that. Hey everyone, Krissy here with 2 Sheep 1 Wheat, and today's video I have an overview and a review for you on It's a Wonderful World and the expansion Corruption and Ascension. Let's get to it. So this is a 1 to 7 player game that lasts roughly about 45 minutes. I have played this 2 players and 3 players, and it has been quite fun. There are only 4 rounds and it is a card drafting game. So I will show you how the rounds go. So for 2 players, you're going to be counting out 8 of these cards. For 3 to 4 players, you're going to be counting out 6, and as well as 5 to 6 players. Now 7 players, you're going to be counting out 5 of these cards. Now because of the expansion we're playing with, everybody gets these cards as well. You are playing with 2 players, you are taking 4 cards each, and 3 to 4 players, you're getting 3 cards. And 5 to 6 players, you're getting only 2 cards, as well as 7 players. So now everybody is picking a card, and you're going to pick one and place it down here, which is your draft area. Everybody rotates their hand and is going to be in clockwise location, as this token shows right here. This is for your first and third game that you're going to be going clockwise, and then this token gets flipped over for the second and fourth round, and then it goes counterclockwise. So you keep passing these cards around until you end up with 6 cards in your hand. So now once you have cards down in your draft area, that is when the round actually starts. You can go through all of these cards and you can figure out what you want to do with them. Now we'll go over the cards and what their abilities are. You have this card right here. If you place it down in your construction area, this is when you'll be collecting some of these cubes over here and placing them in the area right here. And once you get these 2 cubes in here, or however many your cards have, that is when it gets completed and you can build it. You can place it on your empire to build up more. Now to get these cubes up here, you are going to be picking them from here. So however many cards that you fill up with cubes get placed over here, and at the end, at the production phase, is when you will collect these cubes. Now let's say you're just starting out and you're not going to be collecting many cubes in the production phase. You can also discard a card for this icon right here. Whatever it is on this card is what you can discard it for and collect. Now let's say you are placing a card down to collect it as a resource, but you don't have a place or a card that you can actually put that one because it's the wrong color. You would need to place that cube on your empire card, and once you collect 5 of them, you can switch it over into this crystallium, and that can be placed on your empire card and be placed on any other card that you play, that you eventually play. This is the only one that can be moved and placed on one of these cards. If you have any of your other cubes on your empire card, they simply just wait there to be swapped over into one of these red cubes. Some of these cards come with a bonus for completing them as well. You have these ones right here, which have the financiers on them, or this one right here has the generals on them. So once you were to complete this one, because you filled in all of these cubes on here, you can place it there and you would actually get 2 of these general ones. And these are 1 point each. All of these cards are all different colors and they all correspond with the cubes that you have. So you have the gray ones, which are materials. You have energy, science, gold, and exploration. And they all correspond with these icons on the bottom. These will all come in handy when you're scoring because these are the icons that you can score on. So to gain these cubes, like I said, you are getting it from these cards at the bottom of the cards right here. So this would be your production phase. So this player would get 3 of these energy cubes. So you would take 3 energy cubes and you would be able to place them on any cards that you have. And like I said, if you didn't have a room for it, you would place it on your Empire card. So this would actually complete this card. So that would go on top of your last card to building your Empire. Now you get to move on to the green. This would get 1, but there's no place for green. So you would place it on your Empire card. And then you move on to yellow. This one has yellow, but now because of this expansion, it comes with these cards right here. So this is a new card, and you can tell basically because it has this new icon right here. So this means if you have a production of blue, you are no longer getting it. But it does not mean if we didn't have this card, it wouldn't mean that it's taking 1 away if you didn't produce any. So those would be the cubes that this person would collect. They got rid of that 1 card by completing it. Now there is a supremacy bonus whenever you are in your production phase, and whoever has the most of the cubes in the specific color will either gain financier or they will gain a general. And of course, all of these are 1 point each. And you would add that to your pile. So now once that round has been completed, you move on to the second round and you go into your drafting phase again. Now depending on how many players you have, each person will get between 8 and 6 cards for these ones, and anywhere between 4 and 2 cards for these ones. You start your drafting all over again until you have 7 cards in your hand, and you start the whole process over again. So you move on to your 4th round and you complete your 3 phases until everybody has completed, gain all of the cubes that they need, and hopefully finished all of their cards that they have in their construction area. So once that is all done, you move on to scoring everything. And with the expansion, it comes with this nice whiteboard to keep track of all the scores with a white erase marker. So now you go on to scoring everything. And like I said, all of these icons here correspond with each different card. So this one right here, this gold one at the top with the X on it, would correspond with one of these cards where it has just a regular point. So this one would be 5 if I had it in my Empire over here. Then you move on to all of the icons. If you had anything that resembled like this icon right here, this one is 2 times energy cards. So technically this would just be 2 times 1, which would be 2. So you could go ahead and put that right in here. And anything for any of these other resource cards. Then you go on to counting either your generals or your financiers. In this case, we have 2 generals. Then with these new cards in the expansion, you get some cards that are a combo based on how many combos you have of specific types. Like this one right here, this is a 6 times material and energy combo. So if you were to have any of these, like this one, I do have 1, so it would be 6 times 1. And you can add that in here. And then at the end, all you do is score up all of your points and see who wins. I really enjoyed this game. It is a card game, and I do really like card games. Overall, the way that this game works as like the engine building part of it, stacking everything, thinking about what you need to help you gain those cards so that you can build up your empire to gain more cubes, so that you can complete more cards to build up your empire. Everything, how everything works is really, really well designed in this game, and I really enjoyed it. And I enjoy that it's only 4 rounds, so it feels like you're getting a lot in with such a short amount of time and gaining extra points. And I will say this, that I think in the expansion, like I enjoy that the expansion adds extra cards into this game, but I think that this scoring whiteboard is probably my favorite thing that came in the expansion. I think every game should come with these. This was such a neat idea, and then once one gets worn in, it's got a backside to it too. And it folds nicely so you can put it away. And to come, oh, cover came off. And to come with a white erase marker too is just great. Love that about this game. It's got kind of a futuristic theme to it too. And the way that they track the rounds is kind of neat as well. And the whole fact, like the whole thing about whoever gains the most material for whichever color you're going for, gains different points too. And some of the cards that you can get, like this one right here, shows like if you have more of these and you try to gain the most cards for your empire to gain those specific materials so that you can gain more of these tokens to gain more points, but then you can make some of these combos here too, because there are many cards that you could add up that would give you more points for them. And the more you add them up, the more points that you get. And trying to stack those cards, and not even those cards, but other cards too, like the new combo ones for the expansion, just trying to gain those cards and trying to actually even just be able to collect enough resources or materials for these cards just to be able to complete them and add them to your empire, right? So you're adding cards to your empire, which will gain you more points too, because you don't score any of the points that are in your construction area, only the ones that are in your empire. So as long as you can get enough cubes to complete the cards, to add them to your empire, and then try to figure out like a strategy thereafter. I will give you one tip. I feel like at the beginning you're not getting as many cubes that you need to complete the cards. So what I do is I kind of divide the 7 cards that I'm getting into maybe 3 or 4 cards that I want to complete and add to my empire, and the other cards are what I'm using just simply for discarding them and getting the cube that's on the card. So I try to match those up so that I can complete more cards faster so that I can gain more cubes my 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round. So that's just one of my tips out there for you if you were looking for any for this game. But anyway, this game was really fun, quick and easy, just something that you can get into play. The setup really isn't that bad. There are a lot of cubes though, and we usually put them in trays. Overall, just a fun, light game that you can play with some strategy. You can make it harder if you really wanted to. So that was my overview and review on It's a Wonderful World and the expansion. I hope to catch you next video. Wait, what? What is happening? What is happening? I don't understand this.